Hey guys, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade team for November, week 3. And all through the month of November, our life app is Honor, letting someone know you see how valuable they really are. And our memory verse for this month is love one another deeply. Honor others more than yourselves. Romans 12:10. So this month, as we've been talking about honor, we've been learning the story of David. And week 1, our story was about David and Goliath. And our bottom line was honor others by giving them a chance. Then last week we talked about David and his best friend Jonathan. So Jonathan was King Saul's son. And King Saul and Jonathan both knew that God had chosen David to be the next king. So really Jonathan should have been the next king since his dad was the king. But he knew that God picked David, and Jonathan was okay with that. And he was David's best friend no matter what. So our bottom line last week was honor others by putting them first. And that is what Jonathan did to David. Well, this week, David is now king. It is many, many years later. And Jonathan and his dad, King Saul, have both died in battle. And David remembers his promise that he made to Jonathan to always take care of his family. So David puts out a search for anyone that's left in Jonathan's family, and he finds Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. And he calls Mephibosheth to the king's palace and asks him to dine with him. Mephibosheth is kind of nervous because his grandfather, King Saul, did not like David, tried to have David killed. But David did not seek revenge. In fact, David told Mephibosheth that he was going to take care of his family and move him into the palace and care for all of their needs. So our bottom line this week is honor others by keeping your promise, just like David kept his promise to Jonathan to take care of his family. So going over to our leader guide, we would love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage door room for coffee and donuts and prayer. It's really just a great time to gather as an Oak Ridge Kids community and lift one another up in prayer and really just focus our minds for why we are here to serve on Sunday morning. It's really, truly one of my favorite times on Sunday morning. So we'd love to see you there. Then just make sure that you are in your small group by 8:30 and 10:30 so that you've got everything ready to go for when your kids roll in. Then when kids start to come at 8:40 and 10:40, you're just going to need some slips of paper and pencils, and you're going to ask your kids, what is a promise? First, you want to make sure you make it personal. Greet all your kids by name. Definitely help any first-time guests to feel welcome to our area. Then you want to ask them, what is a promise? Why are promises important? Has there ever been a time when you kept a promise? Do you remember what it was? And has someone ever broken a promise to you? And as you discuss the questions above, you're going to pass out a slip of paper to each child and have them write down an object on the piece of paper. And it can be anything, any object. And when they finish, ask them to fold their slip of paper, and you're going to put it in a brown paper bag. Then, when service starts at 9 and 11, you're going to have that brown paper bag ready to go with all of these objects. So you're going to place these paper strips into the bag and mix them up. And then you're going to let kids take a turn drawing out a slip and reading the object on the card without showing it to anyone else in the group. And then that kid is going to give clues to the group to guess what the object is written on the card without saying the name of it. So kind of 20 questions type thing. So if it's a ball, they might say this is something you bounce or kick or throw. It's round. And the first child to guess the object gets to give the next clue. So gets to pull out the next slip of paper. And then you're just going to continue until it's time to go to large group. So you're going to say, you guys are super guessers. And in this game, you could say any word except the word that was on the card. And you said one thing to get someone to guess something else. Well, when someone breaks a promise, they say one thing but do something else. So in our Bible story today, pay close attention to the promise that's made, and let's see if the person keeps their promise. So then you'll head over to large group. We do have a live host and live storyteller this week to bring us the story of David and Mephibosheth. When you get done with large group, you'll head back to your small group areas, and each kid is going to need a paper plate, and you'll need your crayons or markers and scissors. And what you're going to do is you're going to give each kid a paper plate, and you're going to have them write the word promises in the middle and then make a circle. And then you're going to have them cut 8 slits into their paper plate. So the way I did it, and the way I think it would make sense to explain it to kids, is to do like a cross first. So one at the top, one at the bottom, one at the right, one at the left. And then I did one on all the diagonals. This diagonal, this diagonal, this diagonal, this diagonal. So then I had 8 slits going around the outside of my paper plate. And then what you want them to do is in each section, you're going to ask kids to write one promise that they would like to make and keep to a friend, family member, teacher, coach, etc. So then you're going to encourage kids. So for instance, it could be something that they would like to make and keep. So it could be doing the homework, cleaning their bedroom, playing with their brother and sister. So I wrote promises around here that I would like to make and keep to my family this week. And then what they're going to do, you're going to encourage them to take their plates home, put them in a place where they can see them. And then each time they keep a promise, they can color in that section. So if I make pancakes for my kids, they always want me to make pancakes. I can tell them I'm going to do that and then color in that section. I would encourage you guys to make one of these as well. Write down things that you can promise your family and friends, and then tell your kids that you're going to take those home to work on them. So you're going to close it down by saying, so guys, what's easier, making a promise or keeping a promise? Yes, keeping a promise. It's easy to say something and then not follow through. But the way we honor others is by doing what we say we will do. So how could breaking your promises hurt your friendships, your relationships with others? And let kids kind of respond to that question. So yeah, I want you to have good friends and to be a good friend. And one of the best ways you can do that is by keeping the promises you make, which makes the people you love feel important. So take this plate home and put it somewhere in the room where you'll see it every day. And as you keep a promise, color in that section. And the goal is to color in all of the sections after you keep all of the promises that you've made. So let's honor others by keeping our promises. Then for the memory verse review, you don't need anything except a Bible. You're going to look up Romans 12:10 and review it as a group. And then you're going to have your kids stand in a line, shoulder to shoulder. And you're going to ask the kids to place their left hand out to their side, palm up. So kind of out like this. I don't even know if that makes sense, if you can even see that. And then you're going to have kids place their right hand out, palm up, and place it under the left hand of the person to their right. So if my left hand was out like this, then, this is not going to work. Then I would put my right hand under it like this, so that they're kind of like overlapping. I don't know if that works. It's really hard to do that with only one person. And then starting with the first person in the line, you're going to instruct them to say the first word of the verse as they slap, but remember, you might want to demonstrate beforehand, not too hard, or they have to sit out of the game, the left hand of the person to the right. So they're going to kind of like pass it down the line, pass their hands down the line. So, and then repeat the verse at the same time, starting on the other end, and they'll kind of have to switch the order that their hands are in. So I would say, love, slap the next person's hand once, slap the next person's hand other, slap the next person's hand deeply, and then kind of keep going down the line. And then you'll say, great job. You guys are really learning the verse this month. So let's remember to love each other deeply by doing what we say we will do. So make sure the promises that you make are promises that you'll keep so that others can trust you. That's one big way to honor others. Remember, honor others by keeping your promises. Then you have some optional small group discussion questions. What do you do when you realize you made a promise you can't keep? That's a great conversation to have. Why is keeping your promise so important? Has someone ever broken a promise to you? How does it feel when a promise is kept? When someone keeps a promise, even though they had a really good reason not to keep that promise, how does that show honor and value? What are words you would use to describe someone who keeps their promises? And then encourage kids to share an example of when they kept a promise. So great discussion questions there. Then as you close down in prayer, you're just going to need, we've got all of these pieces of yarn already cut for you. So a piece of yarn for each one of your kids. Whoops, that got stuck on my hand. Get off. So what you're going to do is you're going to let kids help each other tie the string around a finger on their non-writing hand. And if they tie the string around the part of the finger where a ring would normally go, they should be able to wear it for a few days. And just explain that this string, a lot of times people used to tie a string around their finger to remind them of something. So this string is supposed to serve as a reminder to keep their promises this week. So then just close in prayer, asking God to help kids line up their words and actions so that they can honor others. And you'll just close it down by saying, so this string is our reminder to do what? Yes, to keep our promises. So let's make sure to honor others by doing what we say we will do. And let's pray and ask God to help us with that this week. So then just close down in prayer. As adults come, encourage kids to show them the string around their finger and tell them that it's supposed to remind them to do these things. So guys, that's it. Thank you so much for serving as small group leaders this week. I think this is a great, very applicable lesson. So thank you for coming here and being small group leaders to not only teach kids about the Bible, but how they can apply it to their everyday lives. I am just so thankful for all of you. So grateful for what you guys do on Sunday morning. So thank you for serving, and we'll see you on Sunday.